Hey everyone, I'm Case Aiken, and when I was doing these original Twitter threads on Superman analogs, I got into a bit of a day of the week thing. So this was a Sunday, and I want to talk about a character who's a little sunnier. So let's talk about Birdman! Now, Birdman had an origin story that had something to do with the sun god, but the key takeaway is that he's a super strong flying superhero that can create force fields and has a secret mountain base. Yes, that sounds like Superman. Way more than most, the character really doubled down on the solar power thing. Like, to the point that enemies used to turn off the lights to make him weaker, and it worked. As with many cartoon heroes of the 60s, the character was a stalwart figure who never failed. While you might mistake him for Hawkman because of his wings, he clearly could fill the shoes of the Man of Steel. He had a pet eagle named Avenger that fought alongside him. He also had a few sidekicks over the years with similar powers. And he had a dope mountain base that was like early versions of the Fortress of Solitude. Look, back in the day, I watched a ton of these cartoons. When Cartoon Network first came out, which I was old enough to remember, they almost exclusively played Hanna-Barbera cartoons, presumably because that was the ones that they had the rights for. But look, we all really remember the character for the phenomenal Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law series from the 2000s. This was a follow-up to Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which also actually featured Birdman a few times, but it was a different take. And this took classic cartoon characters and thrust them into legal dramas. The talent behind this show was tremendous. And while the character was fairly generic in his original form, he was fun. His call of his own name was catchy, his powers were not overwhelming, so he could have some real stakes in a fight. It worked well enough if that was your genre. And given the fact that I've been making these videos now for almost a year, I think I can say that this was my genre. His original incarnation was one I really enjoyed, but I have to tell you that the world is fundamentally a better place for what they did with him later. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law is a true classic, and if you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. Thankfully, there's been a little bit of a revival with Birdgirl, so check that out, too. This video series started off as an ongoing series of Twitter threads cataloging the various Superman analogs that came to my brain space meat thing. There's a link in the description below. Also, I have a podcast about Superman stuff. It's called Men of Steel. Check it out. You can find it at certainpov.com. Also at certainpov.com, you can find tons of other great shows, some of which I host, many of which I don't, but they're all great. Check them out. Also do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Do it all. Do the things. Talk to you later.